Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 9th of 2023, and given that there's a lot of things happening right now between Bob Iger and the Disney board and the constant shakeup, with the earnings call looming later today, we're going to be learning a lot more about Disney's situation made out to the public. We'll be covering that a little bit more later. But what's interesting about everything that's happening with Bob Iger and how they are really trying to tame the overall backlash related to Snow White 2024 coming out of the Indiana Jones 5 box office collapse, which, by the way, created a major domino effect on all up-and-coming Star Wars projects, be it movies or TV shows, doesn't matter. A lot of things got canceled, their upcoming slate for Star Wars got completely shifted, and that's just the beginning. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, what's interesting about Bob Iger is that I like to call him Bob Liger. I know I've said this many times, but this guy always tends to really warp the truth and lies to the audience, lies to his customers and the general public about Disney's current situation, about his confidence in certain projects. I mean, look, this is coming from a guy that believed that Indiana Jones 5 was going to get $1 billion at the box office worldwide, and look where that actually went. They only stopped at like 330 plus million worldwide, around 360 something to be exact. Now, when we're looking at Bob Iger, though, this is where things begin to get out of control with how he is trying to tame the backlash of everything happening with Snow White 2024. Let's get into it. Now, with the Snow White backlash getting worse for Bob Iger and the Disney board, one major development surrounding Snow White has much to do with Bob Iger and his view of the current backlash. Iger went on to deliver the following to everybody. I think the problem that we have been having with our many films, like The Little Mermaid, and in this case, with our upcoming Snow White film, is that many uninformed people need to be aware that we aren't engaging or initiating any kind of culture war with these movies. We are simply exploring different iterations. That's his favorite word, by the way, guys. Different iterations. Alright. Let me just say one thing about Bob Iger here, is that is his way of justifying the change of characters and to upping the ante with diversity in all of these upcoming Disney live-action adaptation remakes. But anyway, moving on forward, he goes on to elaborate further. It has become quite the struggle and challenge for us here at Disney to make our customers understand our stance on this common misconception. The appearance of our characters like Little Mermaid and Snow White have nothing to do with any kind of hidden motive on our part. This is all about moving ahead with new takes for established characters that other groups of people around the globe can relate with. With our success for Little Mermaid, we expect the same success with Snow White. We firmly believe it will be one of our biggest success points on film for 2024, and we are very much looking forward to all of that. Now, guys, let me just pause here quick before I get to the next major thing about Bob Iger. The thing is that is the ongoing thing that he spews out. Iterations and common misconceptions. And it really just is ridiculous at this point. The fact that we have seen their hidden agendas actually on film that got exposed, I'm sure that you guys know what I'm talking about, that leaked conversation from Disney where they're talking about what they want to insert into films, and everything's on record, by the way, guys. So you have Bob Iger lying to everybody, saying whatever he has to say to, you know, convince the mass amount of people out there around the world to essentially accept him for who he is and to believe in their product. That's what they call, of course, everything, like their movies, the TV shows, etc. And in this case, Snow White is not going to be a huge success. There's no doubt about this, and you know why? Because this is coming from a guy, like I said before, that said Indiana Jones 5 was going to be such a big success for 2023 and that it was going to hit $1 billion worldwide, no problem. Look where that went. So here's the other problem with this, is that Bob Iger is really just denying the fact that he's not starting or initiating any kind of culture war. He's been really repeating this a lot, by the way, guys, to the point where it's getting a little tiresome, but That's what he always claims, that they're not getting engaged in that, there's no ulterior motive that's hidden, or anything like that for Disney. And Bob Iger and the board, let's just say it how it is, you know, they really are very much making things intentional with their agendas. I mean, there's no doubt about this after that leaked conversation surfaced, like, what was that, 2 years ago? Maybe a little bit longer than that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But moving on ahead with all of this, he elaborates further again. We have a great cast that is going to surprise so many fans of this popular adventure that started back in 1937, and though things will be different, we think many have been taking our approach with this film too personally. It's always our goal to please our customers by giving them an original product or experience, and in this case with Snow White, exploring a new iteration of the character was our best option in doing just that. Of course, you are always going to have disgruntled customers that reject new concepts and ideas, and that's when we have to just focus on our goals of evolving the original stories and filtering out unneeded criticism that can be damaging for our creators for sure. So, in other words, they want people to remain quiet because it impacts the writers and the directors and the actors' minds. I just say get out of here, Bob Iger. It's true. I mean, there is no such thing as that. People can raise their opinion as much as they would like. It's a free country. If people don't like a specific product, you can talk about it. You can review it. You can express your skepticism or, you know, pre-assumed criticism based on what you have been hearing or seeing, and that's just how it is. People should not have to zip it up and remain quiet. It's true. So, the thing about this is that Bob Iger is a lunatic. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just going to say whatever he has to say to cover himself up, to make sure that Snow White doesn't get as much backlash. Of course he's not going to admit anything like, yeah, you know, this movie's a mess, it's a production hell, we don't really know what we're doing with it. But yet, guys, behind the scenes, we've been talking about this. There's a lot of bad going on with this movie. In fact, they're going to be stripping the Seven Dwarfs from all the promotional work, most of it at least, like posters, cardboard standees, reducing their screen time in the upcoming official trailer to kind of tame the backlash, because they know what happened with those leaked photographs was so damaging to not just Disney, but to the movie itself. And they know that if they release this movie, it's going to create a whole, you know, series of problems. Not just for the cinematic world of Disney, you know, we're talking about the movies, of course, but for Disney World and its attendees. It's really going to come full circle. I really do believe that. It's going to be interesting to see what they have to say about that in the earnings call later today regarding the parks as well. That should be interesting, so we'll be covering that a little bit later. But what's interesting too here is how you have Bob Iger, once again, really trying to just get people's hopes up, to get them into the theaters, and for a movie that has no trailer yet to be hyping it up like this, and really trying to just kind of put a big mask over the movie is just ridiculous. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.